Today in VR, Breaches makes a massive splash on the Quest 2, bringing Rainbow Six Siege-like gameplay to the Quest. Samson and I have been playing it a lot. Actually, Samson has been playing it a hell of a lot. So we talk about our initial impressions. Elsewhere, I've been playing a lot of Espire 2, the game that I've been talking about for like a year now, and I finally got my hands on it. So I talk about my first few hours or first couple hours in the game. Elsewhere, Pistol Whip has also come out with its modding tool. It's now in open beta. So if you have the PC VR version of Pistol Whip, you can now create your very own tracks, or very own, I was about to say missions, but tracks. You get the idea. All that and more, so let's talk Oculus. Let's Talk Oculus, a VR podcast, is proudly sponsored by the good folks at Patreon. If you want to support the show, join us on patreon.com/Let's Talk Oculus. What's up, Oculus nerds? Welcome back to Let's Talk Oculus, episode 83. I'm your host, as always, Dan from Playtest VR. My co-host joining me from across the lands in the Eastern time zone. It's Samson. How you doing?
Yes. The time zone. I am doing all right. Had to put family dog down this week. That was a little sad, but
that was very sad.
Got some good VRing in. Yeah,
that's a sad way to start the show right there. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. I have my condolences to the family.
Cycle of life.
It is cycle of life, but it's never easy. It's never easy. Have you managed to get into a lot of VRing to kind of take your mind off things?
Yeah, VRing and some flat gaming too.
Yeah,
good amount of flat gaming.
We'll talk about the flat gaming at the end of the show. Because I do also need to talk about the flat gaming, but
oh boy, the flat game, and you got to come up for a name of that.
It's just the
end of flat gaming.
The end of flat gaming is the end of the show. VRing. Yeah. There's a special game that came out this week, Samson. A game that was highly anticipated, and I didn't know that a lot of people were into this type of game. But this is called Breaches. Breaches. Now, if those of you who don't know Breaches, if you've ever played a game like Rainbow Six Siege, on the PC or on the consoles or such, it's a tactical shooter. It's 5v5 Breaches. I forget.
Very tactical.
Yeah,
it's 5v5.
Very tactical.
And there is a deathmatch mode, but I believe that's also 5v5.
Right.
So
yeah. 5-on-5 no matter what. But normally there's two teams. One is, say, defending. The other one is attacking. Or one is defending the bomb. The other one's trying to defuse the bomb, right? But there's all sorts. Like you have so many different gadgets that are involved. It's very tactical in terms of it's 5v5. You need a lot of communication is key. For Breaches.
Yeah.
And Samson, I know you've been playing a lot of it since it came out on Thursday. How do you find it? What's your initial thoughts?
I'm enjoying it, and I'm not one to like tactical shooters or really PvP games generally.
Sure.
Although one of the times I've gotten in a group where we played against bots, and I schooled them bots way more than I can school other humans.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it's pretty fun. I prefer defending because if people are coming at me, I feel more comfortable with that. You can set up like door blockers, sort of other ways to trap, if you will, the breachers. And then as a breacher, you're trying to split up and figure out, or not split up, but split up into sort of smaller squads, if you will, at times. Some people can come through the ceiling or what floor you want to come in, etc. And you get a drone you can control. I don't really mess around with that, but it was pretty cool. Yeah. And the reloading's pretty basic. Basically, you eject a clip, you grab the clip with the trigger. I hate that. And then shove the clip on, and then boom, there's no like cocking or anything after that.
It's pretty quick.
So pretty basic. Yeah. And yeah, I'm enjoying it. But I will say, at one point I was following tactically behind somebody. Dude in front of me gets popped. I'm like, oh god. So I creep a little bit forward, and I look to the left. Now, mind you, when you die, you can you can talk to your teammates, but you can't. And you kind of fly around as a drone, but you can't see the opponent unless they shoot.
Mm-hmm.
So I hear somebody in my head telling me, yo, he's to the right. I ignore it, and I look to the left, and I die immediately. And then all I hear is, bro, didn't you see which way he got shot from? Why'd you look that way? And I was just like, look, man, I don't know why I looked that way.
I don't know my
there were
lefts
dead
and
bodies
the
there
rights.
that distracted me. Yeah, I was just like, I did it, and then I died very quick.
Yeah.
So yeah, you definitely got to play smart and slow, a lot of crouching. But yeah, it's pretty fun once you get the hang of it.
Well, it's insta-death, right? So that's what makes it more fun, I would say.
Not like Onward. No, you can take a few bullets, and maybe if you get a headshot, like
Yeah.
you die. And there are health. There's a health like needle.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry, I said the wrong thing. Not insta-death. There's no respawning. There's no respawning. Once you die, you die. And that's what makes it fun as well, because it's 5-on-5, you're very tense going up the stairs and making sure that there's no one behind the wall. And what I really like about it is the sound design. I think in these type of games, the sound design is key, because you need to try and hear the footsteps, and where this is a good game to play with headphones on for sure. It's okay.
Yeah.
Like when I was playing with just the Quest audio through the headset, it was still fine. Like I could tell if it was left or right or whereabouts they were, if they were far or such. But I feel like this is a headphone game, right? This is the game that people play with headphones generally anyway. But
Yeah, I haven't played with my headphones in yet, but I do think it would help. Although it is incredible how well there's like 3D audio somehow. You can hear. I did struggle sometimes to hear footsteps, like, oh, are they above me or on my floor?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, hearing the footsteps is very fun in that game.
Yeah,
very cool.
Yeah. It's noticeable too, because it's like it's the footsteps are amplified a little bit, so you can listen out to it, and it's very noticeable, because in most games you don't really hear the footsteps, or if they're very faint or whatever, right? Because they're not something that you need to focus on. But it's cool, because that is a strategy that you need to hear where the enemy's coming from and such. I also played it with the bots as well to start, and it is very satisfying killing those bots and such. It's very satisfying just getting a kill in breaches, because it makes a big difference. Like, technically, you don't have to kill them all. You don't have to kill everybody. If you successfully try and manipulate your way through and stop the bomb or defuse the bomb, you can win.
Yeah, I don't think one of the games I played I saw the EMP properly or like used.
Yeah.
Every single game turned into a team deathmatch, essentially.
Yeah, it seems. I realize that this becomes a little bit easier that way. I don't know if that's just because of the map design. How many maps do you remember? How many maps did you play? Because I only played the one map over and over again.
There are 3 maps right now, and then one for team deathmatch.
Mm-hmm.
Skyscraper, a warehouse, and sort of like a fancy. It seems like a fancy house, I guess, a mansion, if you will.
Do you feel like the maps give good variety, or are they like more? Or less...
Yeah, I mean, I don't know them all yet. I mean, I hopped into a random game with people who were clearly playing like a 4-on-4 game,
mm-hmm.
and they were like, "Why are randoms popping in?" And while I was playing with them, we'd hear the breachers coming in, and they'd be like, "They're in the bathroom," and then it was like me playing Among Us. They just know exactly where everything is based on the name.
Yeah.
But you don't need to have the maps memorized. There are blueprints on their website if you want to, study up. But as long as you're being tactical, like slowly going around corners, peering or whatever, you can get. Yeah, I think you can get by.
Yeah, and the speaking of the multiplayer, I don't remember the number on top of my head. I'm not sure if you do, but like opening day, there's been a lot of people online. Like a lot of people online. They're like all the lobbies are full. Like you're not gonna have a problem finding a game normally. Is what I realized, unless you're at an obscure hour or something, which is great, and I hope it continues. A lot of these type of games maybe do come in with big hype, and then the lobbies are full, but then they just disappear very quickly into the next thing. So I'm hoping this kind of sustains it, because like After You Fall is kind of sustained its like dedicated lobby base, and I can see this game, because it's so well polished and well done, that this will also kind of like sustain its lobby base, and it's a good start.
Yeah,
it's
hopefully
a good start.
so. They have a good solid roadmap of add-in things as well. So,
Yeah.
I mean, Hyperdash is great. Triangle Factory seems like pretty quality dev studio. Apparently, they're pretty large too, about like 25, 30 people.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's quite large for an indie VR scene right nowadays. Did you try Team Deathmatch at all?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Hopped into that with PJ a little from the VR Verdict.
Yeah.
That was fun. The spawn point's a bit questionable.
Right.
You just always spawn in the same spot, so you can
so you could just stay there and just
camp the spawn points if you
that definitely needs to be changed. That definitely needs to be changed.
Yeah, and the map's a little small, I guess, so it's easy to get over to the spawn point. But I think I prefer the breaching. Like, that's.
Yeah.
I prefer defending the breachers, but the breaching, that mode, I mean.
Yeah.
And it is a little hard to link up with friends right now, unless you're doing a private server.
Right, okay.
But I imagine they'll make that easier, like to squad up with friends and such.
Yeah, yeah. So overall, would you recommend this to people, or would you say to some people who are not into that kind of multiplayer games, then just to kind of stay away? Because it did kind of convert you. You said you're not really into tactical shooters or anything. Yeah.
But I do like to play games with friends.
That's true.
Yeah, I don't know. The reloading's not too complicated for me, which is generally what keeps me out of games like Pavlov. I don't want to take a master's level class and how to reload 25 guns. Get out of here. All these guns pretty much reload the same way.
Yeah.
Where you shove the mag on the gun changes ever so slightly, but there's no like cocking after that. Like, oh shit, what do I got to grab?
That's true.
And I do love
games. Yeah. Sorry, continue.
No, yeah, I do love all the menus when like the buy phase is all touch screens, which makes it reminds me of what's a Dead Second? What's a game where you got a Dead Second, where all the menus, it feels very VR
friendly.
AF.
Yeah.
VR AF. Yeah. And you look at the gun for buying suppressors and all that. I remember I was playing with PJ. I was like, "Hey, which sight do you guys like to use, the holographic or the laser?" And they were like, "You can put a sight on your gun." I was like, "Yeah."
I didn't know that either. Actually, I didn't realize that. I just went straight on the guns. That's good. Any specific like gadgets or anything like that you like to use? You said you don't really like to use a drone, but
I like to throw. It's like I forget what they call it, but it's a thing you put on the wall or like in a door frame. It's got a laser out, and if they walk through it, it'll like blow up or shoot them or something.
Yeah, I don't know what it's called, but you know what you mean.
Yeah. And when I was playing with those really good people, I just popped in that lobby. They were putting things like underneath desks and like in really secretive spots, like the proximity sensor and all that. I was like, that's smart. That's really smart. Y'all hide in that shit.
Wow,
yeah.
These people have had this game for. I mean, we're recording on the Sunday, so it's been 3 days, but people have been hiding.
Well, some kid I played with was definitely played in the alpha. He was like, "Oh, this is a little different from the alpha."
That's true. And also, I guess if you're into tactical shooters, it plays the same in terms of what you kind of expect. The tactics are probably very similar, right? In terms of where you position all these type of gadgets or devices and such. So, man, that's great. That's great to hear. I actually haven't played with friends, so we need to get on that. We need to. I think our schedules didn't really line up.
Get in the Discord.
Yeah, we need to make that happen this week for sure. I'm just playing it with randoms and some bots and such, and sometimes it's just not the same. But have you come across any like idiots on the multiplayer, or has it been okay? Because the people I've played with so far have been like fine. They've been like very helpful.
Yeah,
but there's always going to be idiots.
No, it's been fun. It's a $30 game. Probably keeps most people out who don't want to.
That's true.
Not be playing in the game.
Do you think it's worth $30 at this stage?
Yeah, for sure. It's very polished.
Yeah.
I don't think it feels overpriced, and more content's coming. So.
Okay, fair dues. Okay, sweet. That was Beaches. What I've been playing is a game that I mentioned last week that I was into buying, and that's Espire 2. Finally pulled the trigger because there's been I'm not sure if the sale's continuing right now, but there's been a decently sized Quest sale in April, and Breaches was
I don't know, like 40% off or something. It wasn't too expensive or anything like that. So not Breacher, sorry, Espire 2. So I finally jumped in. Have you played Espire 2 at all? I'm not sure if you have. I don't think you have, right?
Nor the first one.
Okay,
it's a co-op one though, right?
Yeah, you can play it co-op if you wanted to. So Aspire, I've never played Aspire 1, but Aspire 2, for what I've heard before playing it, it's like a Metal Gear Solid-esque stealth game. Obviously, you can go in guns blazing, sure, but that's not really the point of the game. You know, there's like lasers everywhere, and sometimes it's completely dark and such, and you know, you got to like stealth your way around it rather than just going, I'm just going to run through and take the heat. Okay, but
but you can sort of go through guns blazing, right?
You can. Yeah. I'll get onto that. You definitely can. You definitely can. That is also one of my problems of the game. So, Aspire 2, the intro of Aspire 2 is really odd. I have no idea what was happening for the whole first 10 minutes of this game, trying to give me a tutorial. It was very confusing. It was very... Maybe it was like something that followed on from Aspire 1, and I think that's why it was really confusing, but I had no idea what was going on. But...
You didn't watch like a plot?
I didn't. No, I should have.
I
didn't think I need it. I didn't think it was that story driven, but you know, there we go. But so Inspire 2, there's two different types of they call them Aspire, but there's two types of robots or like mechanical robots that you can be as, right? One is like just a human kind of robot, so it has like legs, arms, like normal. The other one is a really tiny robot,
like a helper robot.
Yeah, a really tiny robot which has you know, people who have amputated legs and they have those like running kind of legs. Yeah, it's those kind of legs on there, right? So I think, I don't know this for a fact because I haven't tried that class yet, but I think it's a little bit faster and sneakier, but also can't use bigger guns because it's small and also takes damage really quickly. So there's pros and cons, but the nice thing is that you can replay each one of these missions as the other one, just to get a different kind of experience to try and do it. The straight off the gate, the level design is quite nice. It does feel very Metal Gear Solid, like very, very Metal Gear Solid.
It's a good vibe.
It's a good vibe. There are some really cool VR things. So for example, if you're behind an enemy, you can interrogate them, and you would say it. You would like just say, like, there's different prompts. There's only certain prompts that you can say, but if you're like, put down your gun, they throw their gun, and it's like, get down on the floor, and they'll get on the floor and such. So that works. Or you can just press the
That's pretty cool.
Y button and also just select the prompt if you want to. But you can just say it, and it works, and that's really fun for the immersion. There's a mode where it's like a detective mode where if you put your hand up to the side of your right ear and press the trigger button, you do like a scan of the room where you can see enemies through walls, and if you look at them, it tags them. And you kind of need that on when it's like pitch black dark, because the only way you can see. Which is night vision. Yeah, which is really cool. It's really immersive how you do that, and then you're going in and you're just trying to, you know, there's not many gunplay. Like sure, I've got the gun out a few times, but I've avoided the gun as much as I can. There's also when you have damage on your arms, it goes all these red polygons go on both your arms, and on your inside your forearms there's this like taser kind of tool. But what that is that tool is for multiple things. So, for example, if you have damage, so the red polygons on your arm, you use the taser to like get rid of your damage to restore your health. And this taser has like an energy bar.
Fix yourself.
Yeah, so this taser has an energy bar, and the energy bar obviously depletes as you use it, but then it recharges slowly afterwards. But then you can also find like energy to kind of boost that up. But also, if you pick up a gun, like an enemy gun, you can't use it. The weapon's locked, but there's like little blue orbs little yellow orbs, on the gun, and you have to use your taser to the yellow orbs, and it keeps changing over and over again to charge the gun up to 100%. And when you've done it to 100%, then you can use the gun, then it's unlocked for you. So it's really cool because if you're in a sticky situation and you ran out of bullets and you pick up the enemy's gun, it's locked for a start, so you need to like taser it to make sure it's
do a puzzle.
Yeah, do like the little tiny.
Is it like a puzzle?
It's like a little puzzle where like the yellow laser moves every single time. And you just got to keep keep moving it around the gun. But if you've got no energy left, like I had in the last level I played it for about an hour and a half now. But then you're like, okay, I can't use the gun because I don't have energy to unlock this gun. So now I'm just stuffed, and I just need to kind of go for a run or something like that and try and hide or something, which is cool. And that taser also like. You'll have sentry guns, and you can go up to the sentry guns and taser them, and it will disable it. There'll be like lasers where obviously you walk through the laser, it triggers the alarm, but you can put the taser next to the lasers, and that will disable the lasers and such. So the taser is used for quite a lot of things. But what I'm kind of trying to say here is that there's a lot of cool gadgets and a lot of cool immersive VR, like VR immersive kind of ways that have implemented these things rather than just having it, just pressing a button or just picking up a health pack and such. Like it's very much immersive in the VR world, which is really nice. The pause music is wicked. I find myself pressing pause and be like, yeah, let's go. This is a good song. It's like what's it called? GoldenEye. You play GoldenEye on
the pause yeah.
Like the pause music in GoldenEye is an absolute banger, and it's not as good as GoldenEye, but it's the same kind of vibe where you pause it and you're like, okay, I just want to put on pause a few times, which is quite fun.
There's like a funny TikTok involving that one.
There is
some short video.
I've watched it millions of times. It's so funny. If anyone's not seen that, if you just went on YouTube and just typed in GoldenEye pause music, there's a YouTube short which is also TikTok and such. Just watch it; it's so funny. But so that's it's fun to play. I'm enjoying it, but there's a few things that knock it off. One of which is the AI is a little bit stupid, which is kind of a shame because it kind of defeats the point of the stealth part. The AI is like, okay, you can get around them quite easily, but the thing is, if they do see you, you can get away really easily. So, for example, I was in a room which was like, I couldn't get. There's only one door for this room, okay, and I went into this room. I was seen, so I like hit him with the gun, so he like got knocked out. But then all of a sudden, the alarms were blowing off. So I just hid into the room. I went behind like a pole in the room, and all these like bots came at me, or these NPCs.
I'm imagining you behind this pole like this, just like hiding behind a pole, where you're just like sticking out of
just sticking out. Yeah, you can see everything, but my face is covered, so it's fine.
Yeah.
But so I put the detective mode on, and there was like 7 or 8 different NPCs coming through, or these enemies coming through, and they couldn't find me, and I was literally just behind the pole. And I was just there for ages, and they just kept walking around, and then they just left and then eventually it goes, and it's very quick. It's not like, okay, like a few minutes of looking, then okay, we've not found him. Let's just continue. It's like after they can't find me for like 45 seconds, then they just stop looking. And
they're like, he left.
Yeah, it's like we put it on Amber Alert, but we can't find him. Everyone go back to your stations and do your patrol. And it's a shame because that kind of game breaking to me, because I know if I get caught, it's not the end of the world.
I mean, that feels like that feels like Metal Gear too.
Yeah, you're probably right. I'm probably. Okay, that's actually a good point. It feels like a PS1/PS2 kind of AI. AI, right? Compared to what we're more used to nowadays on the PS5 and such, right? I think maybe we're spoiled by what the AI is. Also, like, the thing is, they don't shoot at you that often. Like, they look at you and they take ages to shoot at you, so you just run up to them and just smack them with the gun. If you can't use the gun because it's locked, you just smack them. I just went through a whole level just smacking them, and it was like,
pistol whip.
just like pistol whip. And then the other one thing I don't like is that it can cause motion sickness very easily. So when you're standing and you're walking/running around, actually just walking around, it's very fast. Like, it's very, very fast. And then you also have a run button, so you can run even faster. But it's a bit too fast. Like, it doesn't feel like natural.
Did you get sick?
I didn't get sick. No, I think my VR legs are getting better and better. But it was too fast. It was too fast. And then I found that if I press the crouch button, I go at the pace that I think I'm meant to be going at as I'm walking. So I end up just keep going, or normally
Crouching.
leave crouch on, to be honest. And then you would say there's obviously settings put into place that you can tunnel it and such to make it better for motion sickness. And I had that, I had turned it on, but they do something different with the tunneling. So instead of just doing the tunnel, so the vignette whilst you're walking, right? What they do is they put you in this like virtual room. So most of your room goes a bit gray.
That's odd.
And it has lots of white marks all over it because that's your helmet. And it's very distracting from you can't play the game, like very distracting from the game. And especially when you're in a dark room, you can hardly see anything. So yeah, I did not like it at all. So I just ended up turning it off and just going without, because I was like, I can't play this game without. But at the same time, I am enjoying it. It's just a little bit AI stupid. But if I just forget about the AI being stupid and pretend they are absolutely fine.
I heard the AI was even stupider in the first
one. Yeah, I heard the same thing. And I did see reviews and people were saying, yeah, the AI is not really improved from the first one, which is a shame because I think a game like this needs good AI if it's a good stealth game, because otherwise you can just run through and you're not really having a problem. So, I mean, I'm trying not to play like that, and like I've spoke about Medal of Honor many times on this show, and sometimes they're a bit stupid, but I just get immersed and pretend that they're not anyway. So I got to just treat it like that and I'll be fine.
Yeah.
So yeah, overall I'm enjoying Espire 2. I think it's normally a $20-$25 game. I don't know, but if you pick it up for like $15, I think at the moment it's worth it, but I'll still play. Like I'm in the mood to just jump back in and keep playing more than anything. But yeah.
Finish it up.
Yeah, that's Espire 2. Anything else that you've been playing?
Yeah, dude. I got in a lot. This is going to be a big intro section.
That's everything I've been playing, so after you, just continue.
All right. Cool. I'm going to start off with my shortest one, which is I got back into Ultimex with two friends. Not an ideal number of people for Ultimex because it's a 1-on-1, 2-on-2, 3-on-3 game. So we played 3-on-3 and we played against bots.
Yeah.
And the game is just kind of boring, honestly, against bots. It might be taken up a level if I can get like a 2-on-2 game. Sure. But yeah, eventually I'm just like, this isn't that fun. I wish you could fly around. You just go node to node. I just wish there was a couple other things. And you can get cosmetic things unlocked as you level up, if you will. But you can't see them. It's a first-person game. So I got like cool fuzzy dice on my like earrings, but I can't see them. So yeah, I don't know how I feel. I'll keep playing every once in a while if I can get. It's free, so it's an easy one to get people in. Yeah. But yeah,
I agree. I think it's a fun one to play with people rather than bots. To be honest, it's not as enticing, for sure.
Then I got in also a little bit of VR chat. Showed off my favorite two worlds, which are the Frog Pond, or it's Le Frog Pond because it's French. I don't actually know how to say it in French, but yeah. And the Duck Pond. Apparently, I like ponds in VR.
Okay.
Chat.
Well, why do you like it so much? Why do you like these ponds?
Oh, they're just calm. They're soothing. The Frog Pond is cool because you can catch flies or mosquitoes or something, and you put them in this flower, and then a unique frog pops, like it transformed into a cool frog.
It sounds like you're on mushrooms.
Yeah, that's VR chat for you. And then mostly spent time playing Super Monkey Ball for a long while
in VR. Oh, sweet. Oh, yeah. I didn't know that was in there. That's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
Love me some Monkey Ball back in the day.
Oh, I saw on Twitter somebody made Vertigo 2 character avatars because the Vertigo 2 dev just like open source, like put his models out there. So yeah, you can just get the Vertigo 2 models
as the
characters
VR
and then put them in. And then, well, you got to like put them in Blender or whatever I don't know what the fancy people do.
Yeah, fair enough.
Then I got in the App Lab game. I'm just fire away.
Yeah.
gotten the App Lab game Shuttle Maze, which kind of feels like, I don't know if anybody ever played a game as a kid where you had a ring with at the end of a stick, and you had to get it around wiring without the ring hitting the wiring. It kind of feels like that. You're a spaceship inside of a tube, and you're going through these tubes, avoiding enemies, if you will.
Is it in third person or ring first?
Energy. It's third person,
right?
So you if you look, it basically feels like a maze of sorts. But there's not that many, at least so far. There aren't that many, routes you could take, so to say. And your ship kind of moves with your hand. I don't know. I couldn't get the ship movement down exact. The finer movement. You can get closer or further away. It's cool, and you can follow the ship. The concept is cool, and it looks good, but I got stuck in this one point, and for 20 minutes plus, and I just could not get around it. It's this point where you got to go up and over and down, and there's a ship shooting 3 bullets at you, and I could not get up and over without getting hit by a bullet. And after about 20 to 25 minutes of trying over and over again, I gave up, and I said, I'm going to come back to this another time when I'm less frustrated.
I own this game too, and I haven't played it yet. But just for people who are interested to try Shuttle Maze, it does have a free trial on the App Lab, which I never realized that App Lab games do have a free trial. It's the first one I've seen, so yeah, you can get a free trial for Shuttle Maze if you want just to try it.
Yep, and the cutscenes are kind of cool in that they're images, I guess. They kind of move a little bit, but they kind of remind me of early 2000s cartoons, like Kim Possible or something like this.
What a throwback.
And yeah, right?
Absolutely.
And then help host a birthday party at the Bubbler VR arcade in Providence. Nice. Mostly got kids into Pistol Whip and Creed, and they loved playing Creed against one another. Boxing.
Yeah. That's why I think the Thrill of the Fight 2, once it releases end of this year, if next year, having multiplayer mode is going to be massive. It's going to be massive because it's going to finally. I don't think many people like to play on their own, when it comes to stuff like that. So, yeah, no, I can see that. I can see. Was there any casualties? Was there casualties? But was there any injuries?
No, there was one little kid, really tiny, running around with a balloon and just running in and out of it. And I'm just like, oh my god, I've seen too many videos. This kid's gonna get smoked. And then another time, a kid started getting close to one of the tables, and this dude who was playing cards or Mancala or something on the table, turned around. And he was like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna get up." But nothing ended up. No casualties. Nothing ended up.
Nice.
No negatives. Yeah.
No negatives.
It was good.
Sweet.
Yeah, and then just a couple things not me playing, but just want to mention them. Sure. New Upload VR website's kind of cool.
It is.
Not really a big news story.
No, it's a nice updated free refresh for sure. It looks clean.
Yeah. And it's $5 to become a member, so support them if you want to do that and not see ads on their website. And then, regarding VR news, IGN covered this Firewall game.
Yeah.
Yay, or whatever.
Firewalls
but
for PSVR 2.
My God, do they kind of suck at covering VR? Because let me read you the title of their YouTube review of this game, or preview, or whatever.
Go on.
Word for word, I'm going to read it. Go on. Firewall Ultra brings PvP FPS action to PSVR 2 without making me nauseous. Why do you got to add that? Why do you got to add that bit? Why's it got to be in the title, dude?
Clickbait. No.
Listen, we're all past this. We all know VR makes some people sick and some people not sick. It don't need to be in the freaking title.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's that.
Yeah.
It's Samson's rant.
I mean, that's fair rant. I mean, if you go to places I love just look at IGN. I used to follow it for ages and such. But when it comes to their VR stuff, I agree. I think there's a lot of publications that I really like, but when it comes to VR, I don't really bother. I just listen to Let's Talk Oculus. That's the only thing I listen to.
I mean, I love to see IGN and Eurogamer getting. I love to see VR being covered by them. But my God, don't put the dude who gets sick in VR in the VR games to review them.
IGN, if you're listening to this and you want a podcast to go on top of your rest of your podcast for dedicated VR, let us know. We will work for free. We will work for free.
I would love, I mean, I don't even want this for myself. I want Pete Austin to be IGN's new VR guy. And I just I'd listen to his beautiful voice on all of their videos, and he knows VR.
I want Pete Austin to come on the show once a month and do his like monthly VR review roundup for 30 minutes. I wonder if he's into that. I don't know if Pete, if you're listening to this, but let me know, or I'll just reach out to you. Okay, that's all your games. You played a lot of games there.
Yeah, dude, and we don't want to talk about Walkabout, right?
Yeah, I mean, thing is, Walkabout, we have access to Walkabout. Samson's played it. I have just flown through it. I've not had a chance to play it, but I think it's better for us. Normally, we would talk about Walkabout because this podcast released when Walkabout is released. But what I found is that, I mean, you can correct me, listeners, if I'm wrong, but what I found is that a lot of listeners like to not listen to the podcast until they play it. So I think it's just better if we talk about it in more depth the week after, because then everyone's had a week to play it, and then it'll be more everything we say will be more clear and relevant. But it's nice, as it always is. Let's just say that.
Yeah, but it feels like a throwback to basic golf, and it's nice.
Absolutely. Okay, that will do for part 1. In part 2, we will talk about the VR news, so we will see you in then.
Hey, we know public lobbies in VR games can be a bit toxic, feel a bit empty at times. That's why we created the Let's Talk Oculus Discord, a friendly community that you can join for multiplayer meetups, general VR chat, the game, and chat about VR, fitness motivation, and there's even a very impressive 3D printing channel. Join over 100 of our community members in the Let's Talk Oculus Discord for free. The link is right in the description.
All right, welcome back to part 2, the VR news. Just before we get into the news, you just mentioned Firewall in terms of IGN. I just realized that Firewall has, for PSVR 2, for people who have that, 2 or 3 really interesting things. One bad thing is that for some reason the reloading is just a button press, not like it's odd because I know you said not a massive fan of I need to learn all the guns, but I feel like also in Breaches it probably has the balance of it's being simple enough for you to be involved. I think in Firewall with the reloading they've just pressed up using a button because a multiplayer game they're just like, you know what, we're just gonna not bother with this. And I actually don't like that. I prefer if it was at least on the Breaches level where you have to at least put the mag in because that whole act is what VR is about, That's one thing. The other thing is that, the other 2 things is eye tracking. So one, they have eye tracking for the menus, as you know, but the second thing is that if someone throws a flash grenade, if you close your eyes just before it pops, you do not get affected by the flash, which I think is really cool.
That's pretty good use of the eye tracking.
Yeah. I think it's really, really cool. It's a great idea. It kind of like these type of mechanics will set the standard for eye tracking in games moving forward. And Quest 3 won't have eye tracking as far as I'm aware, but Quest 4 might do. And then you can maybe start to see these like matured, these kind of mechanics in there. But anyway, let's get into the news. First one is a report from the Wall Street Journal. The Quest had 6.37 million active players in October, which sounds decent, but they also claimed that they sold about 20 million headsets around that time as well. They kind of made the comparison to Xbox, how they've kind of on the same par, if not outsold Xbox, the Quest. I mean, this
Xbox probably has more monthly active users.
I would think so. I would think this number's really low. This number's really low, right? Because this involves Quest 2, Quest Pro, and Quest 1, I assume.
Yeah, it's all of them, yeah. They don't really... Whenever they talk about numbers, it's all like just the Quest.
Yeah. As a family.
All of them, yeah.
What do you think went wrong there? What was going on in October? Why were people not picking up their VR headsets? It's winter, it's miserable outside. It seems like the perfect time, Samsung, to pick up the VR headsets. What went wrong here?
I mean, I don't think it's just October. I imagine that's probably normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
imagine it, if anything, it might have picked up, I guess, around January or December or something like this. But
yeah,
I don't know. They've mentioned having low retention, and I don't know that I'm surprised.
I think also this Christmas that's just gone was a pretty bad Christmas for them compared to the Christmas before. Like the Christmas before, the Quest was booming. I mean, it just came out in September, right? Is that right? No,
the
year before.
off.
Yeah, the year off. Yeah, the year off. But in 2021 Christmas, they were booming. They were doing absolutely great. And then in this last Christmas, it seems like they've kind of dropped. I mean, these are all estimated numbers, so they could be slightly skewed or slightly wrong or such. But normally these estimated numbers are pretty good, nowadays.
Yeah.
At the same time, with a low player base, I think maybe it might just be because of rumors of Quest 3. There was lots of rumors that the Quest 3 will be out soon. Okay, I think also a lot of people thought the Quest Pro was the next Quest, who are not really into the VR scene, right? And just like the casual VR person or casual person looking in thought the Quest Pro might be the new one. Then they saw the $1,500 price tag and they're like, F that, I don't want to get into that. So yeah, it's a bit it's disheartening, but we're hoping that the Quest 3 can boost the sales again, boost the numbers for sure. I don't know if people are also waiting for the PlayStation VR. Like, there's lots of different factors in this case, right? And also the games that came out that Christmas may not have been as strong as the Christmas before.
Yeah, I don't know, like I mentioned this before, I don't know how to, if you're not someone who wants to play VR, you're not really going, like, what's the incentive to put on the VR headset? I don't know. I know 3 or 4 people with their Quest who I probably haven't picked it up in 6 to 10 months.
Yeah, I think that's the same for a lot of VR headsets, to be honest. I can see the PSVR 2 being the same for a lot of people. I haven't touched it for 2.5 weeks, it's just in the corner there. But then I'm also in other VR, so it's not really the same kind of thing here. But, it'll just probably collect dust, and it's kind of the same kind of thing. My theory is, this is just probably one of the factors compared to all of them. But my theory is that around that time, including up to today, as I was trying to play Espire 2 this morning and it just bugged out, the software is trash. Like, the software is not good. So sometimes you go in and the software is like very glitchy and buggy and it's just frustrating and you just don't even want to play. It's too much friction, as we spoke before. And I think that's
always friction.
We had a lot of problems in October all the way up till now for the software glitching out on Quest, and I feel like that could also be a factor big time. So here's one for Espire 2. This morning it was glitching out, but I managed to finally quit the game. But I was playing yesterday and I was playing fine, and then I thought I'd decide to record some gameplay to put on the podcast just on top as I was talking about it. But as soon as I press record, the whole game turned into a glitchy nightmare completely, and I couldn't even quit the game. And I managed to stop the recording, but I couldn't quit the game at all. The Oculus button wouldn't work. And I just had to just leave it. I was like, I'll do it this morning. This morning I picked it up and it was still all over the place, and I finally managed to quit it. But then this morning the Wi-Fi wasn't connecting whatsoever, and I was like, what is going on? There's so much friction. I don't mind the friction as much because, I do a VR podcast and such, I'm in this space. I'm used to PCs and Macs and breaking things and trying to figure it out and whatever. But the casual user is going to just be frustrated and not... it's not put on, let's go, let's play. But yeah, at the same time, $255 million in Beat Saber lifetime sales in October, which means a lot of people are just playing that.
I was gonna say, yeah, all those 5 million of those people are playing Beat Saber.
It's amazing. Every time I speak to people in my circle who are not into VR or not played VR or maybe played a little bit, they always mention Beat Saber. Like, everyone knows Beat Saber is such a big game now, which is very impressive, to be honest. But And now I get annoyed. I'm like, just play something else. There's other good stuff there, out there, right? But
yeah, it is like intimidating sometimes at the arcade. Even I'll be like, "Oh, what do you want to play?" And it could be like, "What is there?" And I'm like, "What?" It's like going to a friend's house to watch a movie and being like, "What movie do you want to watch?" Well, what movies are there? Let me tell you something.
Let me tell you, we have a Netflix library full of thousands.
Yeah. Jiminy Crickets.
Oh, Jiminy, yeah, absolutely. Moving right along, Walkabout Mini Golf. Just a quick news on this. The PSVR 2 version has been confirmed to come out on May 11th, which I'm very excited for as a PSVR 2 owner, because then I can finally play with like a housemate or something like that. Like that can go, here's my Quest, get in there, get into the other room, and let's play locally in a way. Right, which is going to be cool. So if anyone, people who have PSVR 2, that might be exciting news. All the DLC also will be available on there. And yeah, this is a day one purchase. And it might be me just playing Walkabout on both systems. That's what. Maybe this is my Beat Saber. Yeah, this is my Beat Saber, just playing Walkabout all the time. But yeah. Okay, moving on swiftly to the next news story, and that's Pistol Whip. They announced a while ago, we spoke about it on the show a while ago, that they announced like their kind of time frame for this year in terms of what they're doing. And one of it was modding. So it's called Pistol Mix, and it's going to be the official modding tool, and it's now in open beta. So now you can go and basically create your own Pistol Whip levels if you're into that. I mean, it looks a bit complicated on for me, but yeah. Even if I'm in the golf game that I play on the PlayStation, there's a course editor that looks too complicated for me. So, but
it's definitely a learning curve. I mean, it looks like you're basically in Unity of sorts.
It looks like it, yeah.
But they've just sort of simplified it a bit. If you're into that type of creativity, like, more power to you. I'm excited to see what people have. But yeah, I don't know that I have it in me to like really dedicate the time necessary to do that well.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm curious to kind of download it and see how they kind of help you create these, like, because you can like do everything yourself from the ground up with the audio track and such, and the enemies and where all that stuff. But I'm wondering if you could just get a scene that maybe someone has created and just manipulate it, like just change it up a bit, right? And that might be easier to kind of get into it rather than just starting from scratch and putting all the poles in the right places and putting all enemies in the right places and such. And maybe you could just put in your own audio track so you can start having your own custom music in there, with just overlaid onto top of different courses potentially. So that might be fun. Custom tracks essentially, which is going to be fun. But just a thing though, this is not available for the Quest. This is only for the PC VR version. Which is kind of normal. Everything only synthesizers has kind of done it right when it comes to custom songs, right? To kind of make it available.
It's very easy.
Yeah, but like it seems like Pistol Whip, Beat Saber is the same, where it's only PC VR. Beat Saber, you can get around with it with a few, sneaky things.
Yeah, you can mod your game.
Yeah, but yeah, this is only for the PC VR version. But
I wonder when Beat Saber is coming to PSVR.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm unsure. I'm wondering if they're going to hold it off to a more of a fall kind of launch. Because what I heard also, just on the PSVR real quick, the April, was it not April? We're in April now. The February launch of the PSVR was more of like a soft launch, and they're going to kind of relaunch it again in the fall with more games. So this was a soft launch. They're going to have their big PlayStation showcase in May or June, which will show you all the other VR games kind of thing. And then they'll have a big launch in September, October or something just before Christmas. Be like, okay, here's Half-Life Alyx and Beat Saber.
I mean, you can't even buy this thing in retail stores in the US still, so.
No, that's true. You can in Canada, but in the US and I think in UK as well, as like it's only on their PlayStation Store website. Which is wild. All right. We got another news story, and that's Dead Hook. Mentioning Dead Hook because Dead Hook is a new game coming out on the Quest 2 in May. and it's got like a Doom
Fast-paced,
roguelike kind of a feeling to it. So obviously, what's the Doom game? Is it Doom
VFR?
VFR? Yeah. Doom VFR. That got decent, like it's well reviewed, right? Doom VFR. But you can buy it on
It was
PlayStation VR.
poorly reviewed at first, I think, and it's gotten some
And
good
it got
updates,
updated.
but I don't know that it's like...
Just like it was like fantastic or anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, fair enough. I've always heard people talking about it. I don't know if it's just because it's Doom and it's popular, but just wanted to read a snippet from the announcement. They say, explore the elder planet Resurrect and take on the role of Adam Stone, a mercenary, a smuggler, a thief, and a devoted husband. Sounds like his tombstone. Find legendary weapons and customize your character with 100 buffs and permanent upgrades to make each run unique. Experiment with different strategies and tackle the challenges you await you with the game. You will embark a journey to uncover secrets of Resurrect and AI duality, facing through choices of unexpected twists along the way. So it's going to be an interesting game. It looks very Doom-like. It'll be on Quest from May 18th. Sam, so what did you mention about this developer in terms of their upcoming games that you heard?
Yeah, they've made a bunch of games that are not really finished, like Tried and I think Against, which is a rhythm game.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they had a game come out that didn't do so hot, or that was in the alpha or beta stage, and it looks like they've reused some of those assets to make this game. And I don't know. It looks pretty cool, but I feel like a lot of the games have looked cool, and apparently they just don't really follow through.
Yeah, it's kind of. I feel like that's just the thing with VR. Like, you really got to just try it before you realize if it's good or not. Like, it's hard to gauge from trailers and just from gameplay online. You got to kind of see the reviews and kind of try it yourself for sure. Okay, so that was Dead Hook, and the final news story for those in the States: Peacock is now available on Quest 2 and Quest Pro, but it doesn't allow co-streaming, which is very odd.
It makes sense, like copyright wise, but you don't really want. It's making it a less of an experience, right? Like, why would I not watch just on my TV and go into VR if I can watch on my TV with someone else in my house?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I understand the big screen aspect of watching a movie on your own in big screen is kind of way more immersive than watching it just on TV. But I don't think it's the same as on the Quest. I think if you have the new big screen headset, which looks perfect for it, right? Something really small and light.
Yeah.
That's what will be great for this. But yeah, I don't know if it's going to be too hot. But didn't you get like a free trial for Peacock once? Didn't you get US people got emails?
Yeah, I think you get it for 3 months. But once I saw you can't really watch with someone, it's just like, what? I'm at home. Yeah. Why would I watch it in VR alone?
Fair enough.
When I can watch on my TV.
I don't really know Peacock. All I know is that they have the wrestling on there. So if you're into that, get Peacock. That's
I think it's a pretty good one. Or if you like The Office.
The Office is on Peacock? Okay, fair. Just one more thing before we round out part 2, because we're talking about TVs and movies. We watched Tetris movie in big screen last week. If you want to join us on any big screen movie watching, then we have a big screen channel on the Discord. Links always in the description below. But we watched a new Tetris movie, which is on Apple TV, and we streamed it into big screen. And it was very good. If you're into Tetris, where I feel like a lot of people are, a lot of gamers are, that's kind of where they originated from, you are going to really like this movie. It's very in-depth. It has a lot of stuff that maybe you won't know about, and kind of makes you want to read up more about the actual game and such, and how the whole licensing political battle happened with the Soviet Union.
Doc did his research.
Yeah, Doc in the Discord, he loved it and put all the research in the big screen chatter too. So if you do want to see, Samson, big fan of that film? Is that kind of up your alley?
That movie is definitely up my alley. It's my type of movie, and big fan of Tetris.
Mm-hmm.
And do 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 do.
Nice one, nice one. Okay, that will do for part 2 of the news. Part 3, we'll talk about games out this week and anything else, which I guess in the anything else is the flat screen stuff that we want to talk about. So we will see you in then.
Let's Talk Oculus is available on all good podcast platforms and some rubbish ones as well. If you want to see the video version, it's available on YouTube, Spotify, and even Apple Podcasts. And if you really like us and you want to throw us $1, join us on patreon.com/Let's Talk Oculus. Back to the show.
Okay, welcome to part 3, games out this week and anything else, i.e. flat screen stuff. Samson, do you want to take it with the first one? Everslot.
Yeah, I'll take it with the first one. Everslot Invasion's coming out 4/20, like all of these games. Get ready for the ultimate VR action game with Everslot Invasion. Choose from 3 unique classes, then team up with a friend online to take on hordes of enemies and defeat the Great Corruption. Run, dash, jump, and grapple your way through large, dark fantasy environments. Upgrade your skills and gear to become even more powerful. A wide variety of melee and ranged weapons, unique character abilities, and physics-based combat means every battle in Everslot Invasion is a thrill.
Yeah, that was. I didn't realize you stopped immediately there, but yeah, that is Everslot Invasion. If you've seen the trailer, it gives you Gorn vibes again. I think we mentioned that in a few games recently. In terms of the combat, like ragdoll physics kind of thing, blood splatters everywhere as you're hitting him. The graphics are kind of nice in terms of in the trailer. Would it be good? Would it be crap? I don't know. It's $25 though, and the comfort is intense. So published by Fast Travel Games. Intense, so then the publisher Fast Travel Games normally doesn't put out terrible games. Like all of their games are at least decent, so I'd expect this one to be decent. Is this something up your alley?
Probably not. I got a backlog, dude.
Yeah,
this isn't jumping up the top of the backlog.
Honestly, I'm not sure if any of these games. Oh, actually, no, there is one of them. But I'll talk about the next one now. So, Amid Evil. Or Mid-Evil, that makes more sense instead of Amid. But Amid Evil, a retro FPS for the ages, completely rebuilt from the ground up for VR. Okay, so I'm assuming this is a standard flat screen game. Once branded a heretic, you've been chosen as our champion. Reclaim our sacred weapons, take back our ancient lands if you can stand Amid Evil. 7 distinct episodes featuring a completely different setting and enemies. Ludicrous magical weaponry that can be overcharged with the souls of the dead and used in either hand. That's a key fact there. You can use it with either hand. And it's brutal. An adaptive enemy AI which will hunt you down the land, sea, air, and more. Have you heard of this game? Is this an old retro game that I have never heard of? A Medieval?
Yeah,
it looks retro in terms of the trailer.
Yeah, it came out. I think it's not that retro-y, but it's meant to look like a retro shooter. Okay. And it came out in flat for sure a bit ago. But it looks good. It looks fast-paced and it looks fun. It looks fun.
Yeah, it does look pretty good actually. Okay, here's a fun fact. Amid Evil, the video game, it came out in 2018 for the Nintendo Switch and the PC, got 10 out of 10 in Steam. I don't know if that means anything, but 10 out of 10 Steam is pretty good with over 5,000 reviews. Got 10 out of 10. So think of it as you will. This might be a hidden gem.
Yeah, I think so. I think it'll be good.
Yeah, this probably will be good. Okay, and then the last one. Do you want to round that off?
Yes. I will serve it up here. As it is Tennis League VR. Tennis League VR delivers... Come on. No, I'm changing it. Tennis League VR serves up a thrill of landing the perfect ace. Whether you're a casual gamer or an aspiring pro, use real tennis techniques to dominate the court and smash the competition. You can play solo in a variety of game modes such as career or custom games, or take your skills online and put them to the test. retro gaming. Oh, that's us. That's in the script, not in.
That's the script. Yeah.
Now we'll talk about some flat screen gaming. I'm
just,
like Ron Burgundy. I just read what's in front of me.
Yeah, I wrote down the next part as on the script, and you just read it out. That was quite funny. That was actually really funny.
That's good.
So just a quick one on tennis. We spoke about it in depth last week, but yeah, I am actually excited. I want to see the reviews first, but this is a game that I'm most likely going to pick up if the reviews are good. I've been practicing tennis in my spare time, but right now I can't show you outside. In Vancouver, it's raining, and it's been raining every single goddamn day this week, like it is in Vancouver in April. So
Yeah.
I am excited to try this out because they had things like it's realistic enough. I mean, you can put it on realistic mode to kind of practice and work on different shot types, which is very intriguing to me. So yeah, I will most likely pick this up. But yeah,
I don't think I will.
That's fine. I will pick it up and I will talk about it. Anyway, as you were, flat screen gaming. Is there any specific flat screen gaming you wanted to talk about?
Yeah, I've been playing this game called Dredge, which is... here we go. I wrote down a blurb. A single-player fishing adventure with a sinister undercurrent, where you sail, catch, upgrade your boat, and dredge the depths for long-buried secrets. It's really, like, pretty simple and nice and calm, and I'm enjoying it. Played for a little over 5 hours now.
Nice.
I just like collecting fish and selling them, really.
Have you played Hotline Miami yet, or what are we doing here?
Very briefly.
Very briefly. Fair enough. What I wanted to say is that following the chat from last week in terms of the retro kind of gaming that I'm getting to, I'm still very much into it. I've been watching lots of videos. Shout out to Wolfden, who never watches this because he's not really into VR. But anyway, that YouTube channel is great, especially for retro stuff. And he talked about the Ambernick, which is a Game Boy ripoff, essentially. It's like a Game Boy Color ripoff. Think of the Analog Pocket, but just made from AliExpress. Is it Alibaba? What AliExpress?
AliExpress, yeah.
AliExpress. Think about that. It's basically like a ripoff from that. But because of emulation, how good it is nowadays, they are actually really good systems. Josh Folan, friend of the show, he actually tweeted at me after me talking about the retro stuff, and he said he has a 351 MP. The Ambernick names for the devices are really, really bizarre. But the interesting one that he has is that it's great up to PS1, and it has like dual sticks and such. But what I've actually gone up and bought is the RG35XX, which is a crazy name, but essentially what it looks like is a Game Boy. Yeah, it looks like a Game Boy Color, a small Game Boy Color. So imagine your Analog Pocket, but half the size. And it's meant to be tiny, but still like big enough that it's like a clear screen. It's like a 3.5-inch screen. I bought it, and it's meant to be good all the way up to PS1 as well. It doesn't have any analog sticks on it though, which is fine. I didn't really want analog sticks. I was thinking I just want to keep it like D-pad kind of retro. Obviously, most of the PS1 games are fine without analog sticks because the analog sticks didn't come out till later on in its life cycle. Shock, yeah. So there's only a few games like Ape Escape that I can't play, which is fine. I have that on the PS5 anyway. But I have been going crazy with the ROMs, been throwing it back. I'm like, oh gosh, I can't wait to play my old Pokemon game. Thing is, I know like ROM downloading is like illegal and such, but technically I have a lot of these games at home, like back in the UK. Yeah. Like I still have these Game Boy and Game Boy Advance and Game Boy Color games. But obviously they're all at home with my Game Boy SP, so it'd be nice to have everything just in this one little device. And my whole idea of this is that because I have a Switch and I love my Switch, but the thing is it's always a pain to carry along with me because it is big. The OLED one is quite big. It's not Steam Deck big.
I was going to say, maybe you don't want the Steam Deck.
I don't want the no-nos. It's too massive. I prefer the smaller kind of portables, and I thought this would be perfect because I can just load up a bunch of. There's a lot of great Game Boy games and PS1 games and such, and I was like, this is gonna be perfect. So next time I'm on my travels in the airplane, I can just take the Ambonix. So hopefully it's been dispatched. It's coming from China, so hopefully it comes in about 2 weeks or so. But I already have everything ready to go. Countdown begins. I'll show it on the show in the anything else section. But perfect. That's everything I wanted to speak to. Was there anything else in terms of you?
That is it. That is it.
Excellent. All right. So thanks everyone for listening and watching on the YouTubes, of course. As we mentioned before, the Discord link is in the description below. Join us on Discord and join us for multiplayer games. I am very positively sure, as a time of recording, we haven't sorted it out yet, but we will be playing Walkabout on potentially Thursday as it comes out, or over the next few days anyway.
Come on down to the Discord.
So come on down to the Discord if you want to play some Walkabout with us, especially the new map and big screen and all that good stuff. So until then, we'll see you next Thursday.
All right. See you next time when we continue to Let's Talkulus.